Today is August 11, 2025, and the news cycle just hit us with a buffet of "are you kidding me" moments. You ever walk into a room, see so much chaos, and just back out slowly? That's the vibe. We've got Trump wanting to relocate homeless people from D.C. like he's planning the next season of Survivor Potomac edition. The VA is bleeding staff like it's a medical drama no one asked for. Harvard's getting shaken down like it owes the federal government lunch money. Tariffs are hitting so many countries you'd think the State Department hired a DJ to drop trade beats. The IRS Commissioner's gone again. That revolving door is getting so much use it should be sponsored by Peloton. And Texas? Oh, Texas is doing Texas things, which means Democrats fleeing the state like it's the start of a zombie movie. Then there's the international side. Trump and Putin are meeting in Alaska because apparently Frozen needed a political sequel. Australia is recognizing Palestine, which is sure to go over real smooth at diplomatic happy hours. Plus, we've got a CDC shooting fueled by anti-science rhetoric, a USPS vape crackdown that's basically a gift basket for big tobacco, AI leaping ahead with GPT-5, Apple making a phone so thin it could slip under your door, and in sports, history being made in baseball, boxing back in prime time, and Sunderland spending like they've got oil money. Let's dig in. Trump's Truth Social post made it clear. Move D.C.'s homeless people immediately and far away. This is less compassionate conservatism and more compassionate catapult. He's also hinting at federal control of the city because apparently nothing fixes crime like an out-of-town landlord. And deploy the National Guard to restore order? Great. Nothing screams land of the free like military patrols in your neighborhood Starbucks. And the language, crime, murder, and death, sounds less like a presidential address and more like the name of a Metallica tour. The approach isn't solve the root problem, it's hide the problem until it's someone else's problem. Next up, he'll be suggesting the Smithsonian relocate its less popular exhibits to far away, too. VA staffing crisis deepens. The VA has lost thousands of core staff, nurses, doctors, social workers. The fix? A hiring freeze. That's like your car breaking down and your mechanic saying, "Good news, we're banning new mechanics." And the claim from Secretary Doug Collins that service won't be impacted is right up there with the Titanic is unsinkable in the annals of bad predictions. Staff are being shuffled around like playing cards. You worked in dermatology? Great, you're in spinal injuries now. Hope you're good with wheelchairs. Critics say this is part of a push to privatize veterans' care. And if there's one thing veterans love, it's getting told to go price shop their own health care on a Tuesday afternoon. Segment 3. Federal pressure on Harvard and academic freedom. The feds are threatening to seize Harvard's patents on federally funded research because nothing says boost innovation like letting Stephen Miller rummage through your intellectual property. This is part of a plan to remake higher ed in a conservative mold, which sounds suspiciously like an undercooked Jell-O salad from a 1950s church potluck. They're also slashing research funding across the board, not just for elite schools. That means we're all in the same boat, and the boat is on fire. Universities could soon be deciding whether to fund cancer research or install a bronze statue of Ronald Reagan in every lecture hall. Segment 4. Tariff Mania. Trump's tariff list reads like the guest list for a wedding where no one RSVP'd yes. Over 60 countries, rates up to 100%. India's at 50% because they bought Russian oil. Switzerland's somehow in trouble. And computer chips are getting a 100% tariff, which is like taxing oxygen in Silicon Valley. Economists are waving red flags, saying this will drive up prices, tank hiring, and spike inflation. The trade deficit's already up 38%, which is the kind of number that makes Wall Street reach for the bourbon. But the administration insists it's all part of a grand plan, like a toddler insisting their Lego tower will hold up the roof. Segment 5. IRS Commissioner Fired. Billy Long's out as IRS Commissioner after less than 2 months, which in Trump's D.C. is practically a gold watch and retirement party. He's off to be ambassador to Iceland. Now Scott Bessent is acting commissioner, and he's on record saying we should abolish the IRS. That's like hiring a vegan to run Texas Barbecue Week. The agency's had 5 commissioners this year. At this point, the IRS isn't a government agency, it's speed dating with tax codes. And every change just makes people trust it less, which might actually be the point. Segment 6. Texas redistricting showdown. Texas Republicans want 5 more GOP House seats. Democrats fled the state to block the vote. Governor Abbott called them un-Texan, which is bold from a man whose state motto might as well be, "We reserve the right to leave any time." Other states are threatening tit-for-tat gerrymandering. This could turn elections into a real-life Mario Kart where everyone's tossing banana peels in each other's districts. The end game? Nobody gets fair maps, and voters get whiplash from finding out their polling place is now 3 states over. Segment 7, Trump-Putin summit in Alaska. Trump and Putin are meeting in Alaska with Ukraine maybe not even in the room. That's like hosting peace talks between your neighbors and inviting only their loudest dog. Europe's nervous, Ukraine's nervous, and Alaska's just wondering why 2 world leaders are standing on its ice asking about the nearest duty-free shop. If a deal gets cut without Ukraine's say, expect a lot of international side-eye, and maybe a few NATO countries suddenly forgetting to answer Trump's calls. Segment 8, Australia recognizes Palestinian state. Australia's recognizing Palestine. With strings attached like no Hamas and demilitarized Gaza. Israel's calling it shameful, the U.S. is hesitating, and most of Europe is slow clapping. It's the diplomatic version of jumping into a group chat argument at exactly the wrong time. This might push other countries to follow suit, or it might just add another layer of awkwardness to UN cocktail parties. Either way, it's a big shift from a country better known for exporting wine and Hemsworths. Segment 9, CDC shooting. A gunman shot up the CDC, over 40 rounds, in what's being called a targeted attack. Staff are blaming anti-science rhetoric, much of it from high-ranking officials. And HHS Secretary RFK Jr.'s response? Tepid at best. If leadership were soup, this would be room temperature water. Would public health workers have to think about active shooters and viral outbreaks? We're not post-pandemic, we're pre-apocalypse. Segment 10, USPS vape crackdown. The USPS is blocking unregulated vape shipments, hitting companies like Demand Vape. This is being sold as public safety, but it's also a massive win for big tobacco. Less competition, more market share. It's like shutting down all the taco trucks so Taco Bell can finally make rent. Sure, you're regulating the bad stuff, but you're also boosting a whole other set of problems. Segment 11, GPT-5 launches. GPT-5 is here. Faster, smarter, and creepily good at reasoning. It can schedule things on your Google Calendar now, which is great until it starts penciling in global domination for Thursday at 3. It's being called a step toward AGI, but the question is, who's in control when it gets there? Spoiler, probably not the people in charge of your student loans. Segment 12, iPhone 17 Air and Apple's foldable future. Apple's releasing the iPhone 17 Air, so thin you could lose it in a stack of Post-its. It's a preview of their foldable, coming in 2026 for $2,000. Android tried this years ago, but Apple's fan base will line up for anything. If they sold a paperclip and called it the iClip Pro, people would finance it over 36 months. In conclusion, so that's August 11th, 2025, a day where domestic policy looks like a game of whack-a-mole, foreign policy looks like the plot of a bad spy movie, and technology is advancing just fast enough to make us nervous about every other headline. We've got a president who wants to FedEx the homeless to far away, a VA that's losing staff like it's in witness protection, tariffs treating the world economy like a punching bag, and AI getting smarter while we definitely aren't. Stay safe, stay informed, and maybe keep your phone, your vote, and your sense of humor fully charged, because at the rate we're going, you're going to need all 3 tomorrow.